Hello everyone, and welcome to kind of a tea chat video today. Today we're going to talk about some of the things that I like to do when I am not feeling well. With cold and flu season coming up, I figured it was a good idea to go through some of the things that I like to do when I'm not feeling well, because I'm one of those people that I don't really like to take a lot of pills or anything unless I absolutely have to. So here we go. One of the things that I always like to have on hand during cold and flu season, or really any time of the year, is the Yogi Tea Cold Season Sampler. This comes with 4 different types of tea in it, and it is one of those things that's just really good to have around when you're not feeling well. Excuse the orange fuzzy tail because my cat has decided to join me for the video today. So inside this box there are 4 different types of tea. The first one is the cold season tea. It's got a bunch of different stuff in it that helps when you have a cold, kind of helps with the achiness, kind of warms you up a little bit. It's got ginger root, licorice root, eucalyptus leaf, orange peel, valerian root, lemongrass, peppermint. So a lot of really sweet leaves, and orange peel is kind of like that tart flavor. This is caffeine free as well, so it's not going to keep you up all night if you're sensitive to caffeine. It's just gonna really help warm you up and help alleviate some of those cold symptoms you might be feeling, you know, the headache, the runny nose, the cough, stuff like that. So that's a really good one. Another one is the Breathe Deep. This one has licorice root and eucalyptus leaf in it. The eucalyptus leaf you can definitely tell in this one. It's got a nice fragrant smell to it, so even if you're not drinking it right away and you're just sitting there after it's done steeping and you're just smelling it, the smell of it is very nice, and it's got that nice eucalyptus smell, so it kind of helps the inflammation like in your sinuses and stuff, and it helps break stuff up a little bit. And this one is not my favorite as far as taste goes. I still won't put any sweetener in it because the licorice root does kind of sweeten it up enough as it is. But again, this isn't one of my favorite. It's not one of my favorite tastes, if I'm honest. But I'll drink it when I've got like a sinus thing going on or something. That usually helps. So the third one is the throat comfort. Now this one I actually don't use when I'm sick all the time. I actually will use this one if I used to sing in a band for my youth group at church when I was in high school, and I was also in the high school choir. So this one was really nice. Even if you don't have a sore throat and you're a singer, or you talk a lot, like you're a professor or teacher or something, so you're always in front of a classroom, or you're talking in front of people a lot, this one's really nice because it helps with like a dry throat. It helps keep your vocal cords and your throat nice and hydrated, so you're not constantly having to drink a bunch of water. I mean, drinking water, don't get me wrong, you should definitely be drinking water. But this one, it helps. Like, when I was in school, I always noticed that my teachers were always having to go get a drink after a while because they got like that crackly, kind of dry, rough tone of voice. This will definitely help with that. It definitely helped when I was singing to help hydrate my vocal cords, and it keeps your mouth kind of wet. I know that sounds really, really weird, but it keeps your mouth kind of wet, so that way you're not constantly having to go drink that water, and it keeps you hydrated so you don't have that crackly, dry feeling in your throat, which is obviously why it's good for when you have a sore throat, because when you have a sore throat, your throat always feels like it's dry and scratchy. So this was definitely, like I said, one that I was drinking, not just when I was sick, but when I was singing and stuff as well. So this last tea is one of my favorites. When I was younger, my mom, who is a nurse, always gave us these Akinesia pills, and they were huge. They were like horse pills, and when you're tiny and you hate taking pills anyway, they were just very intimidating. So, and I also had a lot of sinus issues when I was younger. I was constantly getting sinus infections and ear infections and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So, I was always having to take these Akinesia pills. And now that I'm older, I've found an alternative. The sampler pack that Yogi Tea offers also has their Akinesia immune support tea in it. And I love this stuff. When I start to feel a tickle in my throat, or I start to feel a little sniffly, or I start to feel like that drainage going on, I always reach for this. And actually, I only got this one out of the pack, but I usually have a whole box of this on its own, which is the other nice thing about these teas. All 4 of these teas you can find in individual boxes of their own, and you get the 12 teas of just the Akinesia support, or just the cold comfort, or the breathe comfort, or the throat comfort. You can get them all separately. You don't have to buy them in the pack. So I usually, like I said, have a pack of a whole box of the Akinesia immune support, because this is like my go-to when I start to feel that tickle. And a lot of times it nips it in the bud, and I don't have to take cold medicine, and I don't have to worry about having, that nasty drainage. I don't have to worry about blowing my nose constantly and turning into Rudolph, because we all know that when a cold hits and you're blowing your nose 50 million times a day, you get like that red nose. Nobody likes that. It's not attractive. This definitely helps with that. It also has a nice flavor to it. It's got peppermint leaf in it. It's got the Akinesia root. It's also got cinnamon, so it's got a nice sweet flavor to it. It's not nasty tasting like the Breathe Right one. So I definitely always have this in my tea drawer, because during cold and flu season, this is my savior. This keeps me from having to reach for the NyQuil and the Dayquil and any other medications that I might take if I were to get like a cold or the flu or something. So those are the 4 teas that we definitely, my husband and I both reach for when we are not feeling good. But there are 3 other things really that I usually reach for when I'm not feeling well. The first one I don't have on hand with me because I drink it all. I like peppermint tea, and when I have a stomach ache, peppermint tea is one of those things that I will drink to help soothe my stomach ache, and it's, again, it's just something I drink all the time anyway. So it helps with my indigestion. It helps if I've got like an intestinal issue going on, which again you probably don't want to hear about or anything. But the nice thing is it also makes your breath smell really good, because it's peppermint. Peppermint and spearmint and cinnamon, those are breath fresheners. It's what they put in toothpaste. So I always have peppermint tea, and it's on my grocery list right now because, again, I drink it all. My favorite brand of peppermint tea right now is the Traditional Medicinals, and they have a whole line of teas similar to the Yogi teas that that have like different properties. So they've also got one that's for colds, and I think they've got an Echinacea one as well. But they don't have like a sampler pack like the Yogi teas have. So, and this, like I said, my husband and I, we like to get the sampler packs because we're not sick for long periods of time generally, so we don't need the big, huge boxes of everything. So, but yeah, Traditional Medicinals is definitely another one that I really, really like as well. So, the other thing that I like to do, or that I get a lot, is I get headaches, tension headaches and sinus headaches. For tension headaches, one of my favorite things to do is boil some water, and I'll put it in a cup, and I'll put some drops of lavender oil in it, and just sit there and sniff it. Really, that's literally all I do. I'll sit there and I'll smell this hot cup of lavender smelling water, and it helps. I don't know how it helps, but it helps ease the tension in my neck and shoulders, and it helps take the edge off the headache, so that way after like a nap or something, or after just a quiet lie down, and my head starts to feel much better. I also like to put this in my bath water when I've had a stressful day, and I only put a few drops because this does, if you have sensitive skin, this can make you dry and itchy. So I only put a few drops in my bath water, and just the steaming water from the bath helps, again, just relaxes you, and then it makes you smell nice too because the oil kind of clings to your skin a little bit. For sinus headaches, I like to use the eucalyptus instead of the lavender, and I'll put this in bath water too. And eucalyptus is kind of the smell that you get from like a Vicks Vapor Rub anyway. So I'll use this for sinus headaches. Sometimes I'll put this in my water and breathe it in if I've got like a stuffy nose or something. So that is the other thing that I like to put in hot cup of water and breathe in when I've got a sinus headache. Just so you guys know, I'm not being sponsored by any of the brands that I've mentioned today. They're just brands that I've used for years and love a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to leave some in the comments below. And hit that like button, that thumbs up if you liked this video, and feel free to subscribe for more videos like this. I'm going to try and do a couple of things with my reading. I want to do a baking video, and who knows, maybe I'll have a surprise guest for my baking video. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Again, if you have any questions or if you have any comments about what kind of videos you'd like to see next, leave it below, hit that thumbs up, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye!